Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. In today's video, I hope to answer one of the most frequently asked questions I see come through even until this day. Should I buy the Fender Tone Master Twin or should I buy the Fender Tone Master Deluxe Reverb? Let's get into it. Just to frame this video guide, I've written articles on both of these, I've filmed reviews on both of them, I've been using the Tone Master Twin out live, and it's great to have the Deluxe Reverb here at the house. So I borrowed it from my local music shop at Sky Music. It goes back tomorrow, so thanks to them for letting me borrow it. It's a great little amplifier that has a very different character to the Twin. I think a lot of people think they're very, very similar, except one's only got one speaker. That's not really the case, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in this video. Let's take a listen. Let's talk a little bit about which one is best for home use, because this always comes up. Now, I really think both of them are great for home use. It just depends on how much space you've got. It also depends on, do you want an amplifier to stay clean all of the time, which is the Twin, or do you want an amplifier that can break up once you start cranking up the volume control on the front of the amplifier? Then go for the Deluxe Reverb. So if you have no pedals and you like that tube saturation emulation through that digital modeling, then go for the Deluxe, but both of them sound really good at low volumes. I almost think that the Deluxe Reverb sounds a little punchier once you really turn the power attenuator down, but overall both are very usable. As I mentioned, been using the Twin here at home at lower volumes for a long time. Now, if you plan on playing live, this is where I think there's some sort of separation between both of the amplifiers. So in my experience, the Fender Twin has more than enough volume at a really loud gig, and I've played out with it a whole bunch of times at the jam nights and also done some gigs with it. It has no problems, you know, chopping heads off, so to speak. So you can get it up loud and people will hear it no problems at all. Whereas a Deluxe Reverb inherently is only 22 watts. So they've sort of emulated that 22 watts. Sometimes that's loud enough, sometimes it's too loud, and sometimes it's not loud enough. And that's just my experience with owning Deluxe Reverbs over the years. Sometimes the headroom runs out pretty quickly, which is why I generally encourage people who run pedals to go for the Twin, because you do get a far bigger sound that stays cleaner longer. Now, this will all depend on your particular gigging situation, but most of the time at jams, or if they're ever using microphones in front of the amps, or if you want to use the XLR outs, both will do a great job. Now, when it comes to using either of these two amplifiers with pedals, I really feel like they can both handle overdrives and delays and all that, no problems whatsoever. Interestingly enough though, the one pedal that seems to sort of make digital amps sound a little bit funky is straight up clean boosts or treble boosts going straight into the front end. you're not going to get the same sort of response doing that than you would with their valve or tube counterparts, right? So with that exception, if you've say got an overdrive going into this and then you run a clean boost before the overdrive, it's going to be fine, and that's how I run it. But if you're going to do it the opposite way around, it may sound a little bit different to how the analog amplifiers would sound. That's just in my experience. Let me know if you've had different experience with clean boost with these amps, but in terms of the Fender Twin, which I play out live a lot, I much prefer just running an overdrive into it first, and then behind the overdrive, stacking clean boost into it that way, and that gives me my sound, no worries at all. But both of them handle most pedals you'll throw at it without any issues. And now let's talk a little bit about feel. So feel is how I feel playing it in the room and what the amplifier has given me back when I'm digging in. Now both of these amps feel great to play, and unless you directly compare them to their tube counterparts, you're probably not going to know any different when it comes to how the projection of the amp is when you dig in, all that kind of stuff. One of the things I noticed immediately when I played the Tone Master amps, unlike some of the Mustangs that they released and so forth, was that big 3D full sound. You hit a low note and you get a bloom of a note coming out of the front. It still feels a little bit, maybe less directional than the tube amps, but it still feels huge. And in the live context of a mix, for example, they still cut it no problems at all. So I have no problems recommending these in terms of feel, but they do feel different if you're coming from, say, a Fender Twin that's an old school analog one. You are going to hear some inherent differences between them, but it's sometimes not enough to outweigh a lot of what the Tone Master does well. It's light, it's loud, it's very portable. I can pick it up in one hand, throw it in the car. There's something really satisfying about not taking a heavy amplifier to a gig and still getting a really good sound. So both of these are really cool. It just depends. Do you like the Deluxe Reverb more, or do you like what the Twin does? The Twin will stay cleaner longer and it will handle pedals better at a louder volume, whereas the Deluxe Reverb is made to emulate that breakup once you start cranking it up. So do you need the high headroom clean, or do you not? And that's what it comes down to in the end. I think both of these amps are still a lot of fun, even in 2021. So if you want to find out about these, I'll leave some affiliate links down in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.